and he said, what happened to the museum? We always knew we were going to have to replace the museum because it was becoming obsolescent and very old, and most of the things didn't work that were in there that were automated. So in the process of renovating here, one of the things the county wanted to do is they wanted to smooth the floor out. That was a pebble floor that was in there. And we knew we were going to change the exhibits, and we said, well, if you do the floor, then when we do take an exhibit out, the old floor is going to be there. And you're going to have to work around everything. So the decision was made, maybe this is the time just to take the museum out, and so they could completely refurbish that building. And we've been saving money now for about 15 years to try to get a new interpretive center in there. So this precipitated the time to actually do it. So that brings us to the point where we are today, where the volunteer organization has taken the monies that they have saved, and we are now under contract with a exhibit design and planning group, which I'll introduce you to in a moment, to actually design a new exhibit center and put out drawings and specifications for the exhibits, and then we'll have to go out and get bids on those for actually fabricating the exhibits.
And our team puts together interpretive master plans. We also work at the state and federal level in implementing environmental education initiatives. I was the project manager for the state of California's master plan for environmental education, the managing editor of the Education and the Environment Initiative, which we just finished after 6 long years, which now results in a codified body of language that finally has environmental education considered an integral part of the K-12 curriculum in the state of California, as opposed to something teachers sort of sneak in a week during Earth Week in April and pray that their administrators don't see them doing it any other time. So environmental education is very much becoming mainstream, and I'm happy I've been a part of it. I've been doing planning and interpretive design for 30 years. Just so you know that my roots too are in a nature center, the humble Turtle Rock Nature Center. I landed my first job while in college, and it was probably the best job I ever had. I worked in aquaria and I worked in zoos. I've started 2 outdoor education facilities. So in other words, I share with you your passion for interpreting the outdoors, and in turn sharing that with the youth, children, the families, and the other groups that come to Placerita. Just so you know, when people ask, what is interpretation? It's always a tough one to crack and define. Interpretation, by definition, is simply translation. You all know that, but people often say, what language do you interpret? And I'm always stumped by that one, and I came up with the great response of the language of meaning. Our task, and it's the task we have in front of us today, is to take the scientific and historical body of knowledge that is Placerita and translate it into things that your audience will find interesting and provocative, and then take it to the next step and build messages from those bits of information, and ultimately build an exhibit sequence that makes sense and is interesting and dynamic and exciting, and something that you will find very useful as a teaching tool, as a public relations tool, and as an exhibit display that you are very proud of at Placerita. So an interpretive master plan is the ultimate deliverable during this phase of work. This interpretive master plan is tasked with doing all the interpretation in the main gallery area, helping interpret this room, which, albeit, functions as a classroom. So we're not talking about putting anything on the floor as much as helping realign things that are on the 2 shelving areas on either side, interpreting the main entrance, meaning that the outdoor animal enclosures, which we're not touching structurally, we're rather developing the media to help interpret them. grappling with some of the issues that have come out during this move out, move in stage, like the fact that snakes and lizards went away and some people aren't happy. And so we'll be working with Frank's staff and Jim and others to figure out how best to address that issue, as well as identifying some opportunities on the trails for interpretive media, not the programs because you're already doing them, but things that can help support your stories. So an interpretive master plan will be delivered, and we are on a fairly tight timetable, so we're moving ahead rather assertively here. And an interpretive master plan differs from a master plan. You, in essence, have already done a master plan in that you looked at the bricks and mortar of the building, and you've come up with a renovated, beautiful display area and additional amenities all around. So that particular component has been addressed and probably will be continually addressed over the years. A strategic plan, rather, is a plan that helps you identify the mechanisms by which you will further fund your interpretive master plan and your master plan. So it's determining those strategies and recommendations for helping get you to where you want to go. And the Placerita Nature Center Association already has a strategic plan. So you're actually in really good shape as a group that already has a strategic plan and already has, in fact, a renovated building that you're very proud of. So we're taking it to the next step, which is helping figure out exactly how we treat the building area. So what we're going to be doing today is exploring some of the stories, facts, topics that make Placerita so special. Actually reviewing, continuing our background research. We will do the site analysis next, and then we keep going. So we've got some massive work ahead of us, but we're looking forward to it. And again, thank you so much for your time this morning. We really appreciate it.